Right guys, hello, Mark Crossfield here. I'm here with Dominic from Ping. We're in the tour van here at the Scottish Open. We've got some questions for you, Dominic, coming from some of the viewers, some good ones for you, you're going to like these. And he's also going to show us around this amazing van and show us some of the things that the Ping guys get up to on some of these great tour events. Let's get stuck in. Right, Dominic, I've got a question from Andrew Kennedy here. He says, how many wedges does the average pro carry? And also, what is the most common loft on their drivers? Good question, that one.
Okay, yeah, wedges, if we start with wedges, I would probably say most players would go pitching wedge, which for our stock sets, 46, 47, and then they'd go into 52, 58, or 54, 60. So 3 wedges in total is the most common, and I don't think I've got a player with less than that.
And have you seen that change over the years you've been on the truck?
I've been working for Ping on the truck for nearly 11 years now, and that's been around the same. The only thing I would say is that we're seeing occasionally you're getting players that are carrying 4 wedges, and they might drop a 3-iron.
Yeah, that's
interesting. 3 irons, certainly 2 irons have gone. 3 irons are starting to become taken out of the game, absolutely. And then you'll see someone go 47, 50, 54, 56. 60 or whatever.
It's just really
so you
those scoring clubs that they're
those
really
scoring
focusing in down on.
And I think some people, if they're struggling with distance control in wedges, then they might go for that 4 wedge option. Because then they can hit flat out shots and they know exactly the distance they're going to hit it, and then it's easier to fine tune. 120, 30 yards in, they can fine tune those. But I'd probably say certainly 8 out of 10 will just go 3 wedges. 47, 52, 58. Excellent. I think that's most common.
Yeah, I mean, certainly amongst the guys watching, I would say the most common wedge that's missed out with that group is that kind of 50, 48, that kind of gappy one. That's the one that's always the last purchase, it seems, from the amateur golfer, where I think it's such an important club, and these guys are obviously proving.
Yeah, we've probably got 4 out of 5 guys using the wedge from the set of clubs, whether it's S56 or I20, and then we've got the occasional player using like the tour wedge as a 47, 48 type club. And that sort of player is a guy that really wants to use that pitching wedge around the green. He wants to chip with it, he wants to be creative with it, he wants to take distance off it. And then the guy that's using the set wedge is more for a flat out wedge. It tends to hit it a little bit further, and that just fits into his yardages as opposed to being too creative with it.
Absolutely brilliant. And then the second part of the
question was the loft.
Absolutely. What's the common loft?
I think certainly in the last 4 or 5 years we're going up in loft. Modern driver, certainly our G25 is extremely forgiving. It doesn't spin that much, so you can use that loft. And if you have more loft, you have more control because you're getting a little bit of spin. But the driver does not spin, so you can get it launching high with little spin, and you get the control. So our average loft, in answer to the question, it would be a 9.5 head.
Certainly.
We've probably got maybe 1 player using an 8.5. We've probably got 3 players using a 10.5.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, Westwood's a 10.5, but his drive has actually been tweaked a little bit. And it's used the option to change the loft on a G25, and his is around near 11.5, 12 on his. It's lofted.
It's very interesting, isn't it? Because
people need that loft. You can't understand. You need to get them. Agree. Most of our heads, people have got, they say 9.5 on them, but we found, like I mentioned earlier, some of them we measure and we find ones that are slightly more or slightly less. Most of them have actually got slightly more than 9.5. So if I was talking exact loft, I'd probably say the closest is probably 9.75, 10 is about the most common.
Because what I find, certainly with talking to my audience a lot, kind of your average club golfer and sometimes beginner, they always really want to come down in loft. They're going the wrong way. I try and say it so much. Absolutely. The guys on the tour are averaging 9.5 and above.
Yeah.
Why are you guys bringing in 7.5 and 8.5?
I mean, obviously, you know, for us, that's what it is. But the G25 and their answers, they're very forgiving,
Absolutely.
like I mentioned.
I agree.
And they don't spin that much, so you do need the loft. If you're comparing with a different manufacturer, then you might be going to some less loft.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when you've got loft in your hand, it's easier to control the ball.
Well,
so if you can get a lofted driver that's not spinning much, that's the way to go.
Totally agree. Really good. Great answers there, Dominic. Thanks a lot. So we're going to show you a bit around the tour van now. So let's show us around, Dominic, and show us a little bit about what goes on this magical bus.
Okay. Okay, Mark, this is where players enter the truck, and at first glance there's just some seating area. We've actually got some soft drinks, got a nice fridge, tea, coffee facilities. You know, some of our players will come in just for a coffee. You know, Miguel and Havre, they'll just come in for a coffee or a cup of tea and a sit down. All our hats for players are up this end of the truck, and there's hats in here for Westwood and for Miguel. For Tom Lewis, all those hats are up here and things like that. So all of this side is just a seating area, lots of storage for hats, different shaped head sizes, different styles of hats. There's a few puffers made up for players, which a lot of the time people want to come in and just have a look at what's new and grab something to feel. We've also got on your right hand side, as you look, some built up product. So all this is ready to go. If someone comes in, they've got an issue or want to try something, then we can go to here. But this is the comfy bit. We're at the far end of the truck now, and this is where most of the production of the clubs go, which is the furthest away from the players. So it keeps them out of the way. But in the drawers here, we've got loads of wedge heads, from some Tour S's to Gorge. Gorge wedges take up most of the space now because that's the most popular wedge out there. And then going down, some fairy woods, all in their wrappers. G25 drivers, they're all been pre-measured and CT tested, so everything's ready to go. On the top here, the machine here is some curing cells, which basically we can put the driver in here or the shaft in here once we've glued it, and we set the timer off, and it takes 10 minutes to heat up and cool down, and then that club is ready to play. That speeds up things quite a lot. Our glue gun for putting the glue inside the head. We have a saw to cut shafts, grinding machines. We don't tend to do that much grinding these days. We've got 3 different bounce settings on our wedges, and most of the guys are all pretty much within those three options. On this side is our swing weight machine, digital swing weighted machine, Ping's own machine. That also, as well as giving us a very accurate reading, it also predicts the type of swing weight when we're building the club, so we know how much glue to add inside the head and weights to add inside the head before we've actually built it, so that calculates all that sort of stuff. Moving around this side, Mark, we've got our banks and banks of different shafts. If I open some of these drawers here, so you can have a look in, there's all our dealer products and some Diamana, some Grapholoid. There's all sorts, and if I move down this way, more banks of shafts. We tend to have some, like we've written a tag here, player shafts, so these are backups for particular players, so if we need something straight away, we can go straight to it. Some shafts there for Cabrera. The pink one's pretty obvious who that's for, but we make sure we get all stocked up for next week's Open Championship. And then also in the top side here, lots of grips, putter grips, iron grips everywhere. There's so many different colours and styles and shapes that we have to cater for. And if a player wants something that we don't have, then the following week we'll make sure we stock up with that grip for them. But there's all banks of grips on this side. Rulers for measuring the club length, quite straightforward. Gripping machine with the drawer that comes out that recycles all the fluid for gripping. So we just put the club in, align it along the alignment lines for the shaft, slide the grip on, and that all recycles around. We use still the 1-inch thick tape. A lot of people use the big 2-inch tape, but we still use the spiral tape, and we pretty much put the club in to there and spiral the tape round. This rotates to make it easy to spiral, and then you don't get any ridges or anything in the grip tape. It makes you ensure you get a smooth grip. If you turn to your left here, a swing weight machine. This is our loft and line machine, which you would have seen in the factory. It's exactly the same as the factory. Takes there's a camera inside in here, which takes a picture of the groove. And if you look on the screen, you can probably just see the previous. This was a wedge for Jimenez. So you can see the groove line in there, and it's measured it, and it measures it to within 0.1 of a degree. So it's really, really accurate. His wedge was 50.8 with a lie of 63.1. It's also got a color code in there for our ping guys. But it's really accurate. This is one of the most important machines we've got on the truck. Again, made by Ping in Phoenix. Loft and line machine for all our putters. Fits every different style of putter. Very, very needed quite a lot and used quite a lot every week. Okay, Mark, around this side is an interesting machine. This is our digital loft gauge, which we use for drivers, fairway woods and hybrids. And also this little machine here gives us the option to bend some hybrids. With the drivers now we don't need to, because we can adjust by plus or half a degree. But this we still tweak some hybrids. In the drawer there, for when we need to do things really quick, these heads have all been glued up. They've all got exact lofts on them, exact weights on them. So we've got some pre-prepared shafts in the other drawer, so we can literally grab a shaft, grab a head and go. We can check the exact loft of it, and the guy can go out and play straight away. So Mark, that's our truck. I hope you like it, and enjoy.
So another question, Dominic, for you. This one from Paul Martin. How fussy are the players when trying to get the club spec'd exactly? So how fussy are they? I mean, do they know their specs?
Yeah, a lot of players will know this. Some of them will know their specs, some of them won't know their specs.
Okay, that's interesting.
Some people just say I'm a red colour code or I'm black, and they might not even know the length of their golf club.
So your tour guys, they're using their colour code the same as the guys at home, I presume.
Yeah, we work all our references and all our machines are to a length of a golf club, to a colour code, and a loft from there. Some people, like I said, will know exactly. Some people won't have a clue, and they just want to be told that that's done for them.
Yeah.
So we keep a record of everything, and you get a fresh set of clubs, and we just spec it out and go from there. Other people might come in and start overseeing and checking their loft and lies and making sure everything's right and checking the swing weight on every club. But we're just there to reassure the player that what they've got is perfect for them and it's set up exactly for them, so they shouldn't have any problem. We don't want any doubt, because if you get any doubt in the game of golf, it leads to issues. So we're just trying to reassure the player that everything is perfect. And for some people, they might want to see the machine, and then they know it's right.
Absolutely.
So, people are different. Everyone is different.
Yeah, I mean, I've been out on the range a bit today, and it's really interesting, guys. Actually, some of the conversations I'm hearing between pros, caddies, and some of the club manufacturers out there, they're almost the same conversations that we hear week in, weeks out in the pro shop.
Yeah, definitely. It's
there
the same.
are maybe slightly different ways of delivering the answer, because you can feel that these guys are just about to go into a big tournament. You might just there's less definites and a lot more talking around, like you say, their feel, what they feel is right, those kind of things, then built around these obviously very accurate specs as well. I mean, obviously you just back it up a little bit by showing them if they're not certain some of the data from your machine.
Yeah, and I think these days now, with the use of TrackMan and our N-Flight, not only are we confirming that yes, the machine in the truck is reading exactly to spec, but then you'll go and put it on the range, hit some shots, and you'll prove that yes, that is what you needed. It was the right height, the spin rate is perfect, it's not spinning up, and all those sort of factors come into play. And most of the time now, and any time a player puts a new club into play, they'll want to see some TrackMan or we use N-Flight, those numbers, just to confirm everything again. But it's really just coming down to that reassurance that what they've got is right. So when they stand on the golf course under pressure, that what they've got is right, and then they can go and play.
Fantastic.
And that's our goal. That's our ultimate goal, is to get them comfortable when they're on the first tee.
Yeah, really good stuff. Thanks for that. Hope that helps, guys. Right, Dominic, got a question coming from Lee here. Does the equipment, what the pros use, differ to what we buy in the shops? Good question there. So are these guys buying the same equipment these guys out there are using?
Yeah, everything that we use on our truck has come straight from the factory. It's
Great.
exactly the same as you would get from any pro shop or anywhere. The only thing that we do is we're really fine-tuning it when we're setting it up for a player. But the actual head, the shaft, everything that we use is exactly the same in every way.
I mean, that's great, isn't it? I mean, there's so much press out there from maybe other companies and certain myths as well about certain players using these kind of magical clubs. But if you're buying Ping, if you're into Ping, what Westwood's using,
it's exactly the same. Sometimes we might adjust things certain ways. You know, our drivers, you know, they all have a set loft on them, 8.5, 9.5, 10.5, but we measure them individually, exact lofts, and we might find slight discrepancies, and then we use those lofts that are slightly higher or slightly lower for a certain player. And sometimes in the head we might just move some weight around inside the head to make it perform slightly differently, but the golf club is exactly the same as you would buy. And if we need more stock, like we're going to the Open next week, we need some new fairway woods, we just reorder from the factory and we'll bring them up for next week. It's exactly the same.
Fantastic, and that's great. So you guys on the first tee this weekend, whatever, if you've got your G25 in your hands, you're playing pretty much the same equipment these guys are playing. They might have it tweaked in a slightly different way that you could get from your pro shop.
But anyone that goes through a full fitting with Ping, you're going to end up the same sort of service, whether it's on the tour truck or in the fitting centre.
And that's one of the things I think so great with Ping is the fitting service on here is from the good guys out there, the PGA pros who are fitting it. It's actually not that dissimilar.
It's exactly the same, except we're just doing it, really fine-tuning it. We're fine-tuning it and we're checking it week by week depending on the player and how he's swinging and what is new, if he's changing his swing in any way or the conditions. We are really just fine-tuning it in every way we can.
Fantastic, that's brilliant. Let me know if that helps, guys. Thanks for watching. So if you like what's going on here, don't be afraid to subscribe to the channel. Also thumbs up the video, post comments, love to hear what you guys got to say. Let's keep it social. The more we talk, the more we share, the easier this game will get for everybody. So if you want to find me on Facebook here, you can find me on Facebook. If you want to tweet me, find me on Twitter here as well. Just follow the links, all in the description. Come and join the show, get active, get involved, get playing some better golf. Thanks for watching.